Hi everyone and welcome back to Sprinkle with Paper. Today I'm going to be sharing how to make this happy fall cupcake topper using Cricut Design Space. We'll be creating our design today by mixing a Design Space image and by uploading our own free font. Let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start by going to CricutDesignSpace.com and opening up a new project. If you haven't done so already, you can now download the offline Cricut Design Space app. I could not be more excited for this feature. This is going to be great if you're working anywhere where you don't have Wi-Fi. For example, I'm going to be heading out on a plane in the next few days, so I'm going to be able to bring my computer and I'll still be able to work on designs, which is something I wouldn't have been able to do in the past. So this feature, if you haven't downloaded it yet, go ahead and get it installed onto your computer so you can design and work on projects anywhere you go. Now back to our project. First, we're going to select text and type in our wording, Happy Fall. From here, we could change the sizing and the font. The font I'm going to be using today is a free font that can be found over on dafont.com. This font is called Black Rose. I really love this font because it's nice and thick, but it's still clear so you can really read it even when you're shrinking the letters down small for a cupcake topper. I'll have a link to the font down in the description. Now, just like creating a cake topper, we need to ungroup the letters and we need to move them together so they're touching and slightly overlapping. The purpose of this is because we want this to cut as one single image, because we want our cupcake topper to be fully attached. If I'm working with a phrase that has multiple words, I work with each word individually. So I'm first welding the word happy, and once that's done, I'll then move down to fall. And once I like the placement of the letters with each word individually, then I'll move them together and weld the whole thing. Once I'm ready to connect the two words, there's a couple things that I like to keep in mind. One, I like to make sure that both of the words are touching in as many places as possible. At the very least, I make sure that they're touching in at least 2 spots. That way I know my cupcake topper will be nice and sturdy. I also like to keep in mind where my stick is going to go. I want to make sure that the stick is not only going to be attached to the bottom of the word, but also the top, again, just to make sure that it's nice and sturdy. Before welding both of the words together, I'm going to add my image. So I'm going to go over to Images and I'm going to search for a fall leaf. As you can see, there are so many different leaves to choose from, so I'm going to pick 3 of my favorites and then see which one works best with my wording. I will include the style numbers for the 3 leaves down in the description. Now that I have the leaves back on my project page, I'm just going to resize them and just kind of work with them to see which one looks nicest with my design. I only want my leaves to be a single layer, so I go on over to my sidebar where I can click the little eye to hide all the different layers so it's only one single layer. Once I decide on my leaf and its placement, I'm going to select the whole thing, the wording and the leaf, and select Weld. From here, I felt like this cupcake topper just needed one more special touch. So I went over to my shapes and I selected a heart. From here, I resized it and I placed it on top of the little maple leaf. My idea was to have a little heart cut out on the maple leaf. So once I liked the placement of the heart, I highlighted the whole thing and selected Slice. Now that my design is complete, I'm going to change the size of my cupcake topper. I typically like to make the width of my cupcake toppers anywhere between 2.5 and 2.75 inches. I'm going to delete the extra pieces I no longer need, and I'm going to go up and select Make It. On this next page, I could choose how many cupcake toppers I'd like to cut by going up to the project copies and changing the number. So today I'm going to be cutting 12 cupcake toppers. So once I've changed my number, I will go down and select Continue. For today's project, you're going to need your Cricut cutting mat, some masking tape if it's not a brand new mat, your scraper, and some toothpicks. I like to use the extra long Good Cook brand from my local grocery store. And as for my paper, I'm going to be using my favorite brand, Recollections, and this is the gold glitter paper that I find at Michael's. Once your design is cut, it's now time to weed out all of these cupcake toppers. Depending on how intricate your cut is, this could be a little time consuming. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back the sheet as a whole, and then I'm going to use my scraper to pull up each cupcake topper individually. From there, I'm just going to use one of my extra toothpicks and I'm going to punch out any of the little extra pieces that were left behind. Once all of my cupcake toppers are fully weeded, I'm now going to glue the sticks onto the cupcake toppers using my hot glue gun. This is really easy because I already figured out exactly where I wanted to place the stick when I designed the cupcake topper. So I'm just going to put a thin bead of hot glue, and then when I place the stick onto the cupcake topper, I'm going to give it a half turn just to make sure it's nice and secure. Then it takes a few seconds to dry, and we're all done. I now just complete those same steps for the rest of the cupcake toppers, and then they are ready to place onto our cupcakes. I hope you found today's video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments or visit me over at sprinklewithpaper.net. Over there you'll find Cricut tutorials along with a lot of other fun crafting projects. Thank you so much for watching and happy crafting!